Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Search Engine Sessions. Today you have myself, Ben Brown, and Ben Alfrey.
Hi Ben.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. And today we are going to be talking about how you can use PPC to help you expedite your SEO strategy and create a more profitable one in the long term. What we're trying to do with these podcasts, which I may have mentioned previously, is trying to collate questions that we get from clients. And recently we went to a talk where someone at the end asked us, in what ways can PPC actually give me the data I need to create a better SEO campaign? And then someone else actually asked, do I need to choose between the two? So today I think we're going to address, one, whether you have to choose between the two, which is no. I'll answer that now. And two, the second one is how PPC can actually help your SEO campaign in the long run. What do you reckon, Ben? Thoughts on this?
Yes.
Yes. Podcast over.
I think, and we'll come on to it, we do interchange between the two. We use a lot of PPC data to help guide SEO planning strategy, keyword targets. We use a lot of traditional PPC software to also help scope SEO plans and things like that. I don't think the two should be kept mutually exclusive. We have our PPC team sitting with our SEO team, for example. There's constant overlap, there's constant feeding of information and intel about a client from PPC that really helps SEO and also gives really good actionable feedback for the client as well. So I think in some cases you might want to choose one or the other, but in no case should you feel you have to mutually exclude between the two.
Yeah, no, well said. And I think that's why we've sort of split down this podcast into 4 different sections. And we believe there's 4 main ways that you can use the data from your PPC campaigns to really help your SEO campaigns fly and sort of make them as successful as they can without too many iterations. So the first one is all around, I've got here written down, PPC can expedite and create faster and more profitable campaigns. So what I mean by that is obviously businesses have multiple products, and let's just take an example. A business may provide VoIP solutions and they'll provide traditional PBX solutions like the phones that go into the ground. Now they may want to promote both of these products, but they only have sort of the budget and it's part of their business plan to try and push their VoIP solution, but they don't know if it's going to be as profitable, for example. So they can run a Google Ads campaign and they have the same budget and they bid on, VoIP related keywords like VoIP suppliers or VoIP business phone setup. And they can also create a different campaign around PBX phones or traditional phone setups or business phone setups, whatever it may be. Now, what they can do is they can allocate the same budget, they can create the landing pages for these accounts, and then obviously they can track the success through people calling up, through people submitting forms, through instant chat, or whatever their method of capturing those leads are. Now, after a certain amount of money being spent or over a certain time period, they can go back and they say, okay, I can actually see that this campaign generated a better ROI than this campaign. So if they're looking to prioritize which one of those products they should be going after from an SEO perspective, then they should be prioritizing the one that has the highest ROI. Because ultimately, like we've spoken about before, people don't necessarily want SEO or PPC. They just want to make more money than they're spending, and they want to have that business growth. So it's not whether, they should be doing PPC or SEO, is how can they make more money?
How can they generate leads?
How can they generate leads?
Make more money.
And it stops them from sort of blindly going into targeting PBX phones, for example, because that's the one they want to target, even if it's not profitable. And the way PPC helps the SEO is if you can create a profitable PPC campaign from that perspective, if you can rank for that same category or group of keywords from an SEO standpoint, then that's potentially going to be really fruitful.
And it's quite a hot topic for us, talking about keyword intent as well.
Yes.
And I think running campaigns such as these, we can really understand the intent of the consumer. If we're bidding on a keyword and we're driving the clicks but not the conversions, maybe we haven't quite got the intent of the user right. It could be too high up the funnel, or the landing page isn't quite serving what they intended to be served to after searching the keyword. So I think running these campaigns can actually help define the intent of the keyword, which might be very different to what the client thinks it is compared to what the data thinks it is.
100%. It stops people from guessing.
It stops people from guessing. And of course, we use the SERPs to sort of create a story about the competitor landscape, but actually bidding on this keyword and seeing how a prospect responds to that ad, for example, can also give you quite a lot of insight as to whether it's worth building, a 6-month campaign, SEO campaign for it.
That's the problem. Yeah, people don't want to guess. They look at keyword, they're like, that's got good volume, it's low competitive, they rank for it in SEO, but then nothing comes out of the other end.
Yes,
and ultimately, it's all, unless you're making, generating leads and a positive return on investment, then it's all vanity metrics. Your rankings and the amount of traffic that you get through and the backlinks you acquire are the metrics which should lead to a better ROI. But if you have the foundation, and in this case, the foundation or the bad foundation would be the wrong keyword that you're going after, sink 6 months into a campaign to increase the relevancy score and the domain authority around that keyword group and topic, then ultimately, you're ranking it higher, but are you going to be getting out the other end what you want to?
Yeah. Funny enough, I came across one that was really interesting, and I know we've discussed it before, but you type in something like marketing automation software, and you'd expect to see a whole list of providers down the SERPs, but actually what you see are informational blogs that say the 11 best marketing automation software review sites, yet right at the top of the page, 4 ad spots promoting individual marketing automation software products. So you've almost got a bit of a juxtaposition between clients bidding on marketing automation software, which I believe would be a very high cost per click, but yet the SERPs are showing informational review based landing pages, which kind of suggests that the intent of the user searching marketing automation software is that they want to see comparisons, they want to see reviews, they want to see kind of what bells and whistles they get for their price, and they don't want to go straight to a product page. So from my own personal perspective, I'd be really interested to see how well those ads at the top of the page promoting the product convert compared to the organic listings below them.
Interesting. So almost like you use Google's organic listing to actually aid the PPC as well. So it's not just a one-way street. It's like a give and take. Because I guess it's both sides of the Google coin, isn't it? Really, they should really work in tandem, and anyone who doesn't utilize the data from one to aid the other is gonna fall short. Because like you mentioned, like Google has billions of data points, and over the years it's worked out the intent of certain keywords, and that person may not be ready to buy, so you could be spending a lot of money, and because marketing automation, that doesn't sound like a cheap click
one.
No,
I don't think so.
That sounds about a £30 so you want to make sure you're getting that right, but actually using the data from campaigns from an actual keyword level, and again, it helps you test the intent. So us as let's just use a theoretical example and some stuff we've seen in the past, that anyone who is looking to optimize their, we could either optimize our SEO page for SEO agency or SEO services. You don't want 2 different pages for that, because you can do, but it's both in top level Google's eyes, it's the same intent. However, it's not really, because ultimately what we found is if we bid on something SEO agency, the leads that come through are willing to pay more than people that type in SEO services, because obviously the premium that comes along with someone typing an agency, you can kind of then work out via the the leads that you're getting through from Google, that is a better keyword to rank for. So then when we're optimizing our pages and building links to rank for SEO agency in Surrey, for example, we want to optimize it for SEO agency. With SEO services being sort of a secondary keyword, rather than us going out there and being like, oh, SEO services looks like it should be easier to rank for. But ultimately, we've looked at the PPC data, and every lead that we've got from SEO services has turned out to be, a one-man band or a startup, which obviously is a great fit for some people. But obviously, if we want to, get the higher ticket clients, potentially, that isn't the best keyword we're going for, and that's ultimately what clients are looking for. They're looking for the right fit for them, which ultimately a lot of the time will be the ones that have a good budget to spend.
I think a lot of it goes into the psychology of the user, and that's such a good example, because if you're looking for SEO services, you're probably looking for an individual part of that SEO pie, whereas the connotation that agency has with it, I used to think straight away, right, premium, lots kind of going on at once type thing. And I think actually it's really interesting to kind of know the psychology of a client within your space and how they actually search potentially for your product. And PPC allowed us, for example, to notice quite quickly that SEO agency is the keyword that we eventually want to target and go after. And if we hadn't done the PPC kind of test run, as it were, then we could have been completely guessing and fallen with SEO services.
Okay, so yeah, I've actually done just a quick Google search here just to sort of prove a point. Obviously, SEO agency and SEO services potentially would have the same landing page. We'd be in agreement from an SEO perspective.
From outside looking in.
Yeah, looking in from a very top level. But if I Google SEO services, the person who comes number one for SEO services
in the organic
does not appear anywhere on page one for SEO agency, and vice versa. The person who
That's interesting.
Yeah, the person who comes number one SEO agency for the organic doesn't appear for SEO services at all. So it just goes to show that people have obviously, optimized for those potential keywords.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't, So it just goes to show that even though it's slight variations, you probably could capitalize on ranking for both, but it shows that even slight changes in competitive markets will make a big difference.
Yeah, that's really interesting actually, because that research took 20 seconds to figure it out. And although it doesn't give you the full picture, it shows that actually Google sees the intent of both those keywords differently. So it's worth investigating further to understand which one is the right one to go after.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just double checking. So
different set of SERPs.
It is different set of SERPs, yeah. There's some crossover, but in a lot of cases, and especially in other industries, if you spend all your time optimizing for that and ultimately you realize you don't get the right leads in. I mean, we don't really do that much PPC for our own personal benefit, but just from the tests that we've run for other agencies, agency versus services has been that common, denominator where it's the differentiation between it.
Yeah.
So that can be rolled out into any industry. There's going to be slight variations of keyword, therefore slight variations in intent and slight variation in terms of the persona of person typing it.
Yeah.
So that's, our 2 cents on that, I guess. So first of all, from a very basic foundation level, we are looking at the fact that keywords are a great way to experiment in PPC. Then you can roll it out into your SEO strategy as your main focus of the set keywords.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I really like about PPC, and whilst we're talking about expediting results, is you can test things like landing pages. So if you're looking to refresh your website or get a new landing page design, for example, you can really quickly start experimenting with that design or that layout with PPC, because within a day of you putting your campaign live or hitting submit, even within a couple of hours, you can have that live and get heat map software on there and start working out if there's any bottlenecks on the site potentially, how people are interacting with the design and all of that stuff. So rather than just creating a new design willy-nilly or whacking it up and doing that, you can start making iterations to your current design through PPC landing pages and then slowly rolling that out into your design across for the whole site.
Yeah, and I actually think this is one tactic that I don't often see very much. Typically, I mean, we've done 20 plus web migrations, right? And we're not often involved in the design side, which completely understandable, right? Usually it's kind of headed up by the CEO, the marketing director, coupled with a UX agency. But it's broadly gone on either current site, so they're looking at behavior flow and analytics, or potentially even Hotjar on the current site, but the current site doesn't really give you the picture of what the user wants. It kind of shows you what the user is having to do based on what they've landed on, right? So building a landing page, for whatever it costs, can actually give you some indication of actually users want to do this and this instead of this and this, which what they're having to do on their site. And that, as you said, is something that you can extrapolate throughout the whole site. And that could be something as, the header, the headers that we have, whether we have products further up or content further up, and actually you get a better understanding of how they want to shop around your site as 100%,
well. Yeah. But, from a UX perspective, it can be very helpful and translate that into SEO strategy. I mean, your general web strategy.
Is it something that you've come across before? So I know when we worked in-house and I went through my first early migrations, we didn't do anything to sort of testing PPC.
The main rule is, does it look good? Is everyone happy? And then obviously performance falls secondary, and if anything starts dropping off, that's when people start addressing the issue. So it's more of a preemptive addressing of the issue rather than being reactive to something going wrong potentially if people don't like and react well with the new site design or layout or whatever it may be. Now obviously PPC landing pages are going to differ slightly to the organic ones because it's a whole different sort of objective, but as like a very top level
how people want to shop on your site. For sure. And I think that's also quite important, is that whenever we build PPC landing pages, they'll look very different to the SEO ones, or not including the brand, color palette, things like that, but how they're sort of built and the items, the containers, and where they are and what they are and things like that is all very meticulously planned. And the beauty of those is, we can run A/B split tests over the course of coming months and things like that.
I mean, one of the big ones is like call to action testing as well. You go, obviously it's different intent from PPC to SEO, but if you find people are, engaging more with, call to actions, like, just for example, get demo is, getting twice a click-through rate compared to get pricing, for example, then you can start to, really test the call to actions throughout your site and, other elements of your site. And like page prioritization of which elements should you put to the top of the page, which should be below the fold, all of that. And I think this sort of comes on nicely to the final thing that I guess that we'll talk about today, which allows you to expedite SEO work or campaign work from your PPC data, is things like the meta descriptions. If you want to see, obviously click-through rate is like a massive...
I've just made
sorry, I'm nicking your idea.
No.
So meta descriptions, obviously, and click-through rate is like a ranking factor, a behavioral ranking factor. When someone clicks through, if you're position 5 and you get a better click-through rate than the person on position 1, it's highly likely you're going to start moving up the search engine results pages because you are relevant in Google's eyes to that person's search. So you're going to go up there. And as Google moves more towards sort of a user-focused or behavioral-focused algorithm, that's going to be more and more important. So if you have the ads, and every month you're writing a new ad and testing a new ad and trying to get a better click-through rate, deleting the one that has the worst click-through rate, writing a new ad, the month after you're trying to optimize it further, you can work out what people are looking for when they type that in. And then you can use that data from your ads, which has a 10% click-through rate, put that into your SEO, and it gives you the best opportunity to be able to get that high click-through rate, therefore the high rankings. So you're not just guessing with meta descriptions and trying to get lucky, or being too keyword led and stuff, and you're actually trying to optimize it for the human user, and actually getting that high click-through rate.
No, I think it's true, and I think it's almost it's almost an output of the fact that the two are often kept mutually exclusive as separate marketing channels, completely separate budgets that don't speak to each other. In that, I do firmly believe with product or category pages and with SaaS landing pages or service pages that the title and meta should be aggressively written. They shouldn't really beat around the bush. They should say exactly what the page provides, but encourage the user to click, whether that's split testing something like get demo in the meta description or in the title tag. We had one example over the Black Friday period with an e-commerce client where we switched up all our category title tags in SEO to basically say 30% off, up to 30% off on each category. Got them re-indexed. They were in Google's index literally the night before Black Friday, and we saw 30% jump on last year's results on Black Friday revenue and on organic clicks coming through as well. And actually, I think I don't see it enough when I'm searching Google. We don't see enough aggressive kind of copy written in the title and the meta description. And actually, I think SEOs or marketing people should at least split test meta and title copy to kind of see what gets the best click and then the conversion as well.
Agreed.
You can get stuff indexed in, if your site is big enough, you can get stuff indexed in Google within an hour or so by going through Search Console. So, whereas in the past we'd have to wait 3 weeks for a title tag to be updated in the SERPs, that's now no longer the case, and it gives us more freedom to split test as well.
Cool. So the next one I've got written down here is actual potential of keywords. Now, obviously we've just spoken about the ways in which we can create tests, which we can in PPC, which we can roll out into SEO. This one's more around seeing the potential. Now, obviously keyword research is a big thing that we do as an agency in order to find out the potential behind a keyword. So if 1,000 people search something, that's, in our mind, potentially 1,000 users we can get in front of in order to sell our product to, or our clients' products to, or services. Now, the problem with keyword research is we have a real love-hate. We love to do it, but we hate, obviously, sometimes the data that comes out of it, because we use all of these different tools. And even with like clickstream data, which shows you how many people actually click on results, it's not always the most accurate thing in the world. With PPC, we like it because it shows you the actual potential behind a keyword. If you set something up and you set to bid on, an exact match of a term, you could, if the clicks come flowing in, that there's a lot of potential around that keyword, and you can create a sort of phrase match campaign and say, put a certain amount behind it and say, you know what, I got 100 clicks today behind that one phrase match keyword. Obviously, you optimize it, get negative keywords in there to make sure it's not appearing for like a bunch of rubbish. But you say there is potential here for that keyword. And the better thing yet is you say you get 100 clicks and you hit your budget. There's a thing called impression share. And impression share says it's like real life data, not just estimated, potential clicks you could get. It's saying, you know what, you got 100 clicks a day, but if you tripled your budget, you could get 100% impression share of the market and appear every single time someone types that in. Then you immediately know there's a potential of 300 people per day which are actually getting the impression of your ad. So rather than, guessing and saying, you know what, this month Google keyword planner or Ahrefs SEMrush says that there's 1,000 people searching for this, you can go on and actually create a campaign which says, you've got 100 tangible clicks today, or this month you got 1,000 tangible clicks, but you could be eligible for 2,000 if you upped your budget, or 2,000 impression wise. So it's not just theoretical example data which people like keyword research tools extrapolate. It's real life data which says there's actually physically been this many people searching for that keyword. Then you can actually say, this keyword is worth me going and putting an SEO campaign around, or this group of keywords is worth me putting this SEO campaign around because I know the search volume's there. I mean, the amount of times that we've seen keywords which, keyword research tools say there's 1,000 searches a month. We rank the page number 1 and then they get like, a couple of clicks and a few impressions. And you're just like, if there was a way in which, you could actually go and test the size and the potential of the market without looking necessarily just at keyword research data, I think that works well.
I think it's good to kind of extrapolate the SEO copy as well, because as you kind of say, you put in a phrase match. If we see that a phrase match term comes in, we run that through a planner or through Google Ads, or, we see the number of impressions coming in. It's substantial to start, targeting that with our SEO copy as well. Then in turn it can start actually molding the copy that we should be creating, because we can actually see what users want answers to, right? So in turn, the other way around is that we can use something like Google Search Console to understand which keywords may not flag up as having a substantial number of impressions, or volume I should say, in Google Keyword Planner, but do have a substantial number of impressions in Search Console. And so actually it might give us an idea of low competition keywords that have high number of impressions and therefore be cheaper clicks to go after as well. So it kind of goes both ways. There's kind of opportunity in which we can find good keywords using our own internal data through both the ads platform and impression share, and through Search Console as well. Exactly.
And they work together because, Search Console is going to bring up ideas that you can use in your PPC campaign. And then if you do like phrase match or broad match modified campaigns, you're going to pick up really long tail, potentially profitable keywords, which you're going to make money from, which you could try and create as your sort of secondary or LSI keywords in your organic strategy. So,
I mean, so many people go after, if you see a keyword in a planner or in a keyword research tool, then someone else, your competitors, going to have seen it, right? What they don't have access to is that Search Console data. They don't have access to the 1,000+ long tail variations of the keyword that you want to target, of which, you might find 10 of them have, 100, 200 searches a month, and together they're worth targeting for a separate ad campaign or for SEO, for example. So there's always far more data available to you that's actually more relevant to you than your competitors are necessarily going to see as well, of which those competitors and us, we're always at the mercy of, a third-party crawler, for example, isn't going to pick up all the long tail variations. The accurate volumes are always going to be estimates. So they're the ones that your competitors are going to be seeing.
Yeah, completely agree. Cool. So we've got here, I've also got number 3, sort of moving on. So obviously we have the first one is all about making sure that we, use things to optimize for the account that we've collected in PPC for, organic campaigns or SEO campaigns. Second one we've gone through is actually looking at the actual potential behind keywords. So it's more of a research task up front, which allows us to look at the power behind potential SEO campaigns. And the third one we want to go into is more around the reason why they work really well in tandem, because obviously as a results page you have 10 organic results, and you have up to 4 ads if it's a really popular sort of market that you're going after, which everyone's bidding on. Now obviously if you just appear in the organic section, you appear once in 14.
Mm-hmm.
If you appear in the organic and the paid section,
Mm-hmm.
that's 2 in 14.
Yeah.
So it doubles your chances of someone being seen.
Yeah.
And what we see a lot of the time is people, you know, we collect from like research and people always talk about it. I have no like quantitative data, but just if I was going to make a guess, if you see someone in the PPC and the organic search, it's sort of, you know, the first time you see them in the PPC, it builds that credibility. You see them again, it sort of confirms that they must be a big player in the space because obviously they have the budget and they know how to appear at that point in time that you're looking for their products and services. You see them twice, it just reinforces that credibility. And it's all about controlling the SERPs. I mean, if you can appear in PPC, you can appear in organic, if you can appear on a comparison post that they go and read, you know, when they're comparing different software solutions or a service solution, it's all about controlling the majority share of the SERP and not just appearing once, but it's about just being there, not being unmissable.
Well, I think it's, you know, what is it and again, this is probably broadly old data, but the average user has 7 touch points with a brand before committing to a business or service.
B2B, I think that was
B2B,
like 5 to 7, I think was average, but I think that it could be a couple of years.
It,
that sounds like a presentation from a few years ago. But
let's say that is true and it's kind of infancy. Then, you know, by appearing for multiple terms and on these review sites, you're only going to increase those touch points as well. I think if I was a competitor and I was looking at which keywords to target and I saw a business in the Google ads and in the organic listings, that would probably give me an indication that this is probably a good keyword in which to go after. You know, if they're happy enough to be bidding on it and they're happy enough to be appearing in the organic, then it would give me at least a starting point to go off. Unless, of course, it's a branded search and things like that. But, you know, talking about non-branded keywords and things. So, again, it's always good to keep an eye open for. And I go back to the previous example with marketing automation software where the 4 ads right at the top were direct, take me to a product or service page. The preceding, I think it was 8 results below it after the answer box were comparison reviews, 11 best. You know, the intent was completely different. So if I was a marketing automation software provider and I typed that into Google, I'd probably say, I'm not really going to have much opportunity to rank for this because I want to rank my service page. And actually, it's probably not worth running Google ads through because the SERPs are showing that it's informational search.
Research stage, yeah. No, I think that's interesting. And also what I found interesting was when you mentioned the brand, and that's a really interesting use on how you can use SEO and PPC in tandem. Because if someone types in your brand name, people might be bidding on your brand name, but you'll obviously appear in, you know, the organic search. It's your navigational keyword, so people are actually looking for your brand. So a lot of the time, you know, people are bidding on your keyword, then it's an expensive brand awareness campaign for them because we never see it convert that well. But even if most people do appear number 1 for their brand name, I would still use the PPC as a chance to bid on your own brand name and promote current offers. So say, for example, someone types on, you know, session media and go down to the organic search, they'll be like, see session media and us to have a meta description, which is, you know, helping your brand become unmissable in search or, you know, whatever it may be. But then we have a PPC ad. If someone types in session media, we put, you know, session media winners of XYZ award this month. It just shows us, or we have like, not that we do, but you have like a special offer on if it's a company, or you have, you know, a free trial for your software if you're a software company. It allows you to change your message instantly. So even people that are searching for your brand, you've done that work, it allows you to sort of try and convert them on an offer which you're testing.
Be more reactive.
It's more reactive terms. So obviously meta descriptions, you don't want to, you know, potentially keep changing them depending on your offers, especially for your branded search. But if someone types in your brand and we say, you know, session media won this, or we've, you know, currently been, you know, done this great thing, or here's a recent case study, even it can get people going through to pages they other wouldn't like visited otherwise. And it's used as like a conversion tool, and it's controlling the SERPs not just for non-branded terms, but for your own brand name, just to really educate the user and think about that user experience as a whole.
I think that's really interesting because I know when we were running PPC, you know, we wouldn't point users straight to our homepage or our service page. You know, we actually built out a landing page, which we've already discussed. But adding on to the point about controlling the SERPs, if, for example, we just had a really good client win, we've got a really nice case study, we can build that out into our site and then point PPC to it because we might find that that's a better, potentially or arguably a better landing page for someone to go onto, then
for branded, definitely.
for branded, then our homepage, because straight away you're kind of giving that reducing that perceived risk and giving that confirmation that actually we can do the work that we've said in an industry that's relevant to you as well. So I think that's a really interesting point.
Sure, thank you.
It's good to make one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to make one per podcast. Positive ROI. So again, sort of tied in with these questions, people always say, is PPC a short-term thing and SEO the long-term thing? So question being, should I stop my PPC campaigns when I'm ranking for my SEO? Now, no. Right. Done. So here's the deal. So if you create a PPC campaign before you go into your full-blown SEO campaign and your PPC campaign is profitable, sure, roll out what you found into your SEO campaign. But if your PPC campaign is profitable, why would you stop it? Because ultimately, if your PPC campaign is profitable, then keep running it, because even if it was a short-term solution to become profitable, it's still going to be profitable in the long term if you keep it optimized and it keeps running well. Don't stop it. And also, you'll keep those learnings for your SEO campaign coming in, and you can keep optimizing that campaign. And we always say, if you can create a profitable PPC campaign and then you're able to rank, take all the learnings and rank, for your organic keywords or those organic keywords, then, if 80, what's the stat, like 20% of people click on the PPC ads versus 80% organic is the stat. Let's just say that's true. Then if you're, becoming profitable with that 20% of the market and you can rank for that 80%, then obviously you're going to be, 4 times more profitable in theory. Not how it works, but obviously if you can be profitable from PPC and then implement those findings to SEO and then be successful there, then it's going to be a very sort of fruitful campaign for you.
Yeah, I think in my experience, it's almost come down to the state of the market. If the market is super competitive and you've got big players bidding in the 4 ad spots, and then the SERPs are highly competitive to get into, I think where I've seen it's not as profitable as if the market has low competition. You're paying for the click up here and you're paying for the SEO, and you're kind of appearing in both. And if it wasn't in the ads, they would come to your organic listing. Then I'd probably argue that maybe it's worth turning it off and seeing the effect of it. I know we had one client that did that with us because we started ranking them. They turned it off and they saw the same number of leads come through. But I agree in that that's by no means a one size fits all in that regard. And usually the B2B side that we work with, especially in the UK, every keyword is pretty competitive now. It's a very different landscape to what it was kind of 10 years ago, and by and large having both appearing in the PPC and the SEO longer term has always proved more profitable for the businesses. But I don't know whether you've had more experiences with those at all. I
mean, they tie into both. I mean, like, it's not even just a search strategy. I always say that, if someone, lands on your website at all, then you can use like results page remarketing. So obviously you can remarket and bid higher on people that have been on your site before. Yeah. Obviously remarketing comes into play, so you can integrate the SEO traffic with the PPC traffic. So yeah, I think it's definitely, if they can work together well, if you can create a profitable PPC campaign, then it's definitely worth investing in that SEO campaign using that data. Yeah. And also if you're obviously bringing in lots of good organic traffic through non-branded search terms, then it's definitely worth having a look to see if you can really create that extra 20% on top, if that is the percentage of people that click through to the paid ads. So I think, if you have a profitable for one, there's no reason why you can't have profitable for both of them, to be honest, unless it is, again, I say that broadly, but it does depend on market.
Question for you. Have you found, when we appear in ads and the organic, have you found one drive better quality traffic, more conversion, or better quality conversions than the other?
Again, that's hard because with PPC, obviously you can see a lot of that data. Yeah. With the SEO, it's always hard to find out exactly what keyword they come in and convert. Of course, so I think pinch of salt has to be taken here. And again, I think it depends on industry. I think lead gen websites are very different to B2C websites, mainly because of the scale. But I'd ultimately say it's hard because obviously you can control every aspect of the PPC process, and you get full transparency. With SEO, obviously you can see roughly what group of keywords are ranking better, and you can see a correlation of inbound from those, you know, target organic landing pages. You can make an educated guess. I mean, I love SEO, and I do believe SEO in the long term does probably get better leads in, but I think PPC from a tangible and like it scratches that itch in my brain that wants to know exactly what's going on. With regard to the campaigns, and you can report on it much, you know, more heavily. But that's why I think you need to use PPC data to inform SEO more than the other way around, because obviously SEO, you know what you're ranking for, but you don't necessarily know the whole story. You know that you've put everything in best practice.
I mean, PPC just puts the steroids on. The PPC just puts the SEO. The PPC puts the SEO on steroids, doesn't it? You can essentially get an insight into the sort of results you can expect in maybe 1 month instead of rolling it out for 6 months, right? And then you kind of extrapolate that and use the data as we've discussed. So
and I think like we spoke about. And I think SEO versus PPC is an interesting question, but ultimately it's going where the attention is. And we love search engine marketing because it is the perfect amalgamation of sales and marketing. You know, you're not doing outbound sales, and you're not doing necessarily inbound marketing through like paid social. It's you appearing at the point in time which someone's interested in your product. And if you can do that well, then that's great. But we're not necessarily sort of, you know, pushing SEO or PPC as a service. We are trying to align what we do to, you know, people actually making money through leads or through their e-commerce store, whatever it is. So that's why we like SEO and PPC, because it allows that, you know, conversation to be started for those leads coming to the website. So ultimately it's not PPC or SEO or both. Is this the best channel to get you guys to where you want to be? And that's it. I got one last question for you, which I don't think I know the answer to, or anyone does, apart from maybe someone, you know, one of the engineers at Google. Obviously, Google's main business model is PPC, so their, you know, auction for ads. Do you think bidding on in a competitive market, if so two companies are neck and neck, do you think if one company bidded on PPC and the other one didn't, that there's the conspiracy theory that the one bidding on PPC and paying Google would get the edge?
What, in the organic?
Yeah, in the organic,
I mean, I see them as two completely separate business models. When I think of Google, I think thousands of employees that across a number of different functions, and I don't think you've got James heads up PPC and Sarah heads up SEO, and James goes, "Oh, Sarah, these guys are spending an extra £3 on PPC. Can we just bump up their organic?" I can't get my head that something like that in the algorithm would work. So if I had to make a standpoint, I would say no. I think
you can't bribe Google.
No, I think Google will always aim to produce the best results for the user, especially now in this kind of day and age around the privacy and the amount of ads and things.
DuckDuckGo and the likes of them,
exactly. So things like the rise of DuckDuckGo, which doesn't cookie your data or show no ads, I think we will see more people. It does
show ads, but it doesn't cookie your data.
Okay, so I've learned something. So it doesn't cookie your data. So I think we will start seeing more people diverge onto the likes of DuckDuckGo, and actually I do think it's a good
fastest growing search engine, well, relatively speaking, for their size.
And I do think the older generation, you know, they're sort of using Bing a lot more because of their adoption of Windows and things. But I think that Bing might also have an opportunity to kind of follow in a similar suit, not to completely not use cookies. I don't think that, but I think that they will find kind of a niche offering that relaxes or doesn't take as much data as people think is being given. So I think Google, although they are, you know, 90% market share or whatnot, they have a complete monopoly on this game at the moment. I think they still have to stay ahead of the curve by making sure that they provide the best result to the user. Otherwise, people will shift. Yeah, and I agree, if that, you know, means anything to you at all. But we do hear these things, you know, people have these conspiracy theories that, you know, paying Google does, you know, help your chances in organic search. Again, see them as two completely separate functions, and end of the day, Google is a relevance engine, and as soon as it stops becoming the best relevance engine is when they start losing more market share. And they will lose quickly. I do firmly believe that. Yeah, I think everyone's definitely picky. Cool. So that's everything from my side. Anything else to add? No. Nice one. Well, thanks for listening, guys. As usual, any questions, fire them in, and we'll do our best to address them in the future. Cool. Have a good one. See you later.